Hey you guys, how you doing? I have a confession, I'm a little bit in love. I finally got a Sicilian this morning. I must have played 15 games, and it seems like when I was not happy with a Sicilian, everyone was playing the Sicilian. Anyway, I finally got one. We finally got a Smith-Morra gambit, so not a perfect game by any means. I'm going to share with you, I'll share the game, and then what we're going to do is going to analyse it and also show you a method for improving your play. That's very, very simple. Okay, so let's dive in. So I have the white pieces, which is traditional, and I play e4, we have this, and we go into a Smith-Morra. Fully accepted, happy days. Okay, and now e5. Now I know that e5 is inaccurate. So I just develop as normal. I'm hitting the pawn. I could win my pawn back now. Even after knight f6, I can win my pawn back if I want. But I develop my bishop. And now we have h6. And what's the point of h6? Well, he's trying to prevent this, okay? With the knight and the bishop looking at f7. Now, I had a memory because I've been over my Smith-Morra drill. And I think that the format that lesson was in was when the pawn came forward to d6. And I knew that when the pawn came forward to d6, this guy was effectively hanging because we could sack the bishop, deflect the king, and the queen would be undefended, right? So I castle, and guess what? We have d6. And I'm like, no way! This is totally what I prepared. Okay, so I sack the bish straight off. Now, let's see what happens. King takes, and now I take the pawn on e5. I would not have been able to figure that out, I don't think, unless I'd done the study, which I shared with you only yesterday. There may be other good moves here. I don't know. We're going to find out together in a minute. So, obviously the pawn can't take here. If the pawn takes, I simply win the queen and gobble up everything on the back rank. So king now goes to g8. Now I think if the king goes here, then we have a forced mate. Check, the king comes here and then queen there is mate, right? I remember that from the study. But the king goes to g8 and I'm like, okay, what do we do here? So I now come in with knight g6 hitting the rook and the bishop. Clearly the rook's going to move. He moves forward to h7 and now this. Quite pleased with this move. I'm hitting the knight because I'd love to play check here with my queen, but I can't because of this knight. But then I saw e5. This pawn is still effectively pinned because if it takes, the queen hangs, right? So what does he do? He plays his knight back to e8 and then boom, queen d5. Queen d5, the king can't actually move. The only playable move here, I think, is for the bishop to block, and then it's checkmate. So that is sex on a stick. Now we're going to learn from this. Okay, so I've got like the review up, and I can see that it's not. I'm like doing really well up to this point, and so let's just go over it. We'll go over it in the chess.com review. Okay, bookity, and see, inaccurate. I was right. I knew it was inaccurate. And knight f3 is good. Bishop first, ever so slightly better. Because I know generally if d6, bishop is the way it goes. Here, bishop slightly better, okay? And that's also inaccurate. And now bishop c5, good. And it says I played this like a 1500, which I'm kind of happy about because that's higher than my blitz rating. And that's a mistake. Yes, it loses a pawn. Miss. He's saying, yeah, of course, I should have just taken the pawn and gone straight in for the kill. Plus 2.5 there. So I castle. d6 is the best move here. Interesting. And that is a mistake. But black's better here. Wow. Okay. And that's excellent, but yeah, queen b3 check. I kind of saw that. It's irrelevant. Just as good. And that's a blunder. He should have played. Okay. So clearly there's stuff to learn from this, right? And that's a great move. And that's a blunder, and there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the share icon. I'm going to grab me the PGN. Okay, and this is something that you can do in your own study, right? So here we're going to go game number 2. Room for improvement. Okay. Go on to PGN. So I'm adding this into my my study. Okay. So my first game here, there's a tactical loss, and black wins. So room for improvement. Let's go over it. Okay. And this is good. All right. So knight f3. Let's put the switch on the machine. It's saying, okay. So here I can say, in case of e5, bishop c4 is more accurate. Okay. So I'm learning from this. And actually I'm going to make sure this is interactive lesson. Okay, I can do that. Doesn't really matter. Okay, they bring the knight out now. And now it's bishop c4, that's the best move, okay. They should have played knight c6 here. And this is completely winning now, okay. So, okay, the point of h6 is to keep the knight away from f7, but we can do it anyway. We can win our pawn back. We come in here. Okay, so this is what we should have done. This is what we should have done. And now they can push d5. d5 is the kind of anti-fried liver general move, but everything is pretty much losing from here. We simply take. Yeah, because we've got this. Ooh, don't know. Don't know. What do people normally play here? They normally play knight takes d5. That's what most humans play. Okay. And then we can take with the bishop. We're threatening this with the discovery on the queen. So absolutely crushing there. Okay. So the thing is, that's the point. That's the point where I deviated from the from the best line and lost my advantage. So here I'm +5, and that I know is what I should do. Okay. So I don't know, how does this work in? So I need to turn this into a lesson for myself, right? So here we develop. Okay. And that's, so I'm learning, right? In case of e5, bishop c4 is immediate. Okay, now you can develop the point of h6, and now that's what I want to do. So what I'm going to do, I'll come out of preview mode, and I'm going to promote this variation. Okay, so this is now like the correct line. Okay, so let's just follow this line again. Okay, so here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces attacking, so we can simply capture with a knight. Knight takes d5, 386. Bishop e6 is the other one, so we might look at, let's look at bishop e6 as an option as well. Okay, so that looks inaccurate. So I'm just going to scroll down and say dubious move. Knight takes f6 here with check. The machine says is the best move. Wins 73% of the time. We've also got queen a4 check, but the engine doesn't like that as much. And then queen takes is most common. And then it's bishop b5. Okay, so what's the hint here? And why not queen a5 check? Sorry, queen a4 check. Queen a4 check still wins pretty much, but I guess we want to keep our queen on the deliver check, but keep queen on the open d file, right? So we do a check there. They will usually play king e7, but I don't know, not always. And now f4 is the most common move, but queen d4. Queen d4, why queen d4? f4 is also totally like winning. Why f4 though as well? Okay. Pawn push, pressuring the e6 bishop. They'll usually do this. Queen a4 is where... Okay, so I feel like we've gone off into the weeds a bit with this one. But the point is that with this line, we're in a completely winning position. Okay? So that's the thing to remember. So, totally overwhelming. Open things up, right? So we proceed. They take... Obviously we recapture, and it's +6. So here I would just say, go back to my notes, white is winning here, and we can pretty much after knight takes d5, bishop. Okay, that's another line. So this is okay. So like preview now. Oh, come out of preview. Go back to the start, preview again. And you can play through the game. This is the point. So this is... What we're doing is we're going over, we're retracing, where did you lose your keys, right? Let's walk, retrace your steps. Where did you lose your keys? Well, okay, actually, bishop here is the best move. I know that now, because I'm studying. I'm a student. I'm not just playing. And the point of this is to keep the knight out, but in comes the knight all the same. Totally overwhelming. And that's it, right? It's like that's all I need to know to be a better Smith-Morra player. And this is crushing now for white. So there you go. Ooh, I've got chills. I've got chills. They're multiplying. I'm loving this. And you know what I really, really love about this is because you so often get to play the best move in chess. Bishop takes f7, check, which is like my absolute favourite. I love it. So, there you go. First proper skill. I mean, I've played the Smith-Morra a few times, but this one feels good. Okay, thanks for watching, everybody. See you later.